Let me see.
I know what you did. You're a damn predator. All right, just get the hell out of here. I got a goddamn campaign. Hey, the one thing you do care about. Okay, then I quit as your son.
Good evening. If my camera turns off, it's been doing that tonight. That's why I didn't get on here earlier, because I gotta troubleshoot this thing. I'll do that tomorrow. Anyway, how is everybody today? Survived on Monday. I had, see, there it goes. I don't know. Give me a second. Right. Well, if it turns off again, I'll just have to use use my laptop. It's gonna turn off. It's been doing it all freaking evening. I apologize for that. Hey, Heart Moon, Tammy, Dolly, Madison, what up? Hey, Trouble. Anyway, I was saying a good day today. Good weekend. Turned out to be a good day. So, I've got a little bit of VT Chronicles tonight. Little Miss Thang went live, came out of her hiatus. Her hiatus was interrupted. And then I wanted to say something about, after that, I want to talk a little bit about JIS. Not a whole lot. It's not going to be a big deal tonight. But talking with a few people, and we're actually arranging for some of our customers who haven't received their stuff to, they want to come live and talk about it and show their proof, because they keep getting attacked, as I have the last few days, about why don't these people show their proof. And I was like, you know what? There's a method to the madness. They're going to show the proof. We're just getting our ducks in a row. Because I like to do things properly. So that will happen. And it might even happen as soon as tomorrow. We have a few people who are just about ready. They want to talk and they want to show me stuff. There is a post I was going to do today showing the I guess you can say it's showing the dispute. Someone didn't get their stuff, and it was a few weeks, and they went to PayPal and disputed the charge. And there's more to it. I have a screenshot of the dispute, of the amount, from the card, from the transaction. It says spoiled cosmetics, I think it is, spoiled something. And I was getting ready to show that, but technically JIS has a few more days to respond. They give her a time limit to respond. And as of now, that time limit is supposed to end in about 5 days, 4 days after tonight. So she wants to give a few more days to see if she's going to do something. And if not, she'll go live, or at least she'll allow me to tell the story. I don't know if she wants to go live necessarily. Like I said, a lot of these people who order stuff and don't get it, just because they speak up and say, I didn't get my stuff, they're called names and they're attacked. And it's just really dumb. It's a dumb practice. I saw Punky. What up, Punky? Sauce, how are you? Hey, Mercy. Thanks for being here. Salinas, thank you for being here so much. All right. Let's start with it was really weird. Vanessa went live and I had a discussion with someone else, and it was like, what? It shouldn't surprise us. It's not the first time we have that reaction collectively. It's not the first time we have that kind of reaction. Hey, Nadia. Hi, Mindy. You know what? I'm gonna show. There's some merch that's gonna be available. I just updated a logo with some stuff on it. It looks pretty cool, but I'll debut it tomorrow. And sometimes you need someone to step up and do stuff like this. Hi, Jamie. I'm not monetizing. Que pasa? What up? And I think it's, once I started hearing that just because people are asking, where's my stuff? And they start getting attacked. It's like, really? You're going to go low like that? It's like, why would they lie? Well, they just want free stuff. It's like, well, they never got their stuff, so it's not free. They're paid for it. They just never got it. It's like, God, man, they follow her hardcore blindly. Just like Vanessa's people. That's why I call them meathead minions. And there goes the camera. Son of a vish. So, all right. Why don't we just get to it and we'll get started. It's already late. I know that. I apologize. Hey, Alexandra. So we're going to start with Little Miss Thang. Let me know if that's too loud. If she's too loud, let me know. Why does she resemble the Bride of Frankenstein? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Am I wrong? I'm gonna skip through some of this because.
Hello, Yolanda. I really, one second. Hi there, Monica. How are you? Hello, Debbie. Hi there, Miss Shannon. How are you? Let me pull over right here. I'm making this video just for the purposes of documenting. That's it. That's what I do all the time.
Right? Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Hi, Caroline. How are you? Hi, hello. 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 This is Vanessa Tijerina coming at you live here in the Rio Grande Valley, South Texas. This is my survival page, all right?
Let me kill the music, sorry.
Nation, where people like me have to have a survival page because people in power, thought that they could put somebody like me.
She said people down here need to have a survival page? I don't have a survival page. Mine is an anti-survival page.
In the situations that they put me in, simply because I believe all 4 of my children. I will forever speak of that. Okay?
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. In case you don't remember, the community hates her. And the community means the school, the teachers, the parents, the law enforcement. They hate her because she stood up for her kids that were being bullied. And you saw the thing last week that I posted, that article of what she made her child do. Who's the real bully?
It's important because the Rio Grande Valley is also the home of the first Hispanic female to ever be put on death row.
Okay, she's talking about Melissa Lucio. And she is right now, she's still on death row, but they've taken her execution date off the books. And the district attorney in Cameron County, Texas, they sent it back down to the county where it started, which is here. And he's dragging his feet because he really wanted to, flip the switch on her, push the button, and, push the syringe. He wanted that to happen. He really doesn't like her. I mean, the district attorney doesn't like Melissa Lucio. So technically, she's still on death row, even though there is no execution date. And it's been recommended by a few people, including the judge, the original judge, that she be given a new trial and released. She shouldn't be in jail. So that's been going on for years already, and she should be out. The district attorney can call and say, yeah, you know what? I don't know what we're going to do, but let's release her in the meantime. But he won't do that because he's an a-hole. That's the truth. So, real quick, why we transitioned this to Melissa Lucio, I don't know. Let's see if we can figure it out.
Now, before you judge her the way that many have judged me, let me remind you, there was exculpatory evidence, right? Evidence finding that she could not have possibly committed the crime. And that was withheld to benefit people in power so they could look like heroes for putting away, a child, unaliver.
Unaliver. Okay. A child murderer. But I can't believe I'm saying this. Vanessa's right this time. That did happen. The district attorney back then had aspirations beyond being a district attorney. And, or was it the lead prosecutor that was trying to be a district attorney? And he wanted to see, they left out a lot of stuff that would have shown that she had nothing to do with it, including one of her own daughters that said, I did it. I did it. So what? Man, I wish I could show you this. Let me see if I can show you a little something here real quick. Where are we at? 342. Okay. Give me just a moment. Let me look for something. Let's see. If I can find it, I'll pop it up here real quick. Okay, let's watch a little quick short video. And I mean short. It's short. All right. All right. All right. Let me pop this up here. Let me do one of these numbers. Okay. The baby that's dead is Mariah. Melissa Lucio is the mother. She was accused of neglect, abuse, causing death. What happened was at one point, little Melissa Lucio fell down some steps from the second floor to the first floor, outdoor stairs. And here, we'll just start this.
Accident. Do you believe there was an accident?
Here.
What about the accident? Do you believe there was an accident? No, I don't believe that it was an accident. I believe that Alex, and even from her own mouth to me, yes, I did it. What about the accident? Do you believe there was
And there's more to it. If you're interested in that, you can watch the documentary. It's all over the place right now. I think even on YouTube. It's called The State of Texas versus Melissa. And tells you a lot. And that lady, that's Lynn Marie Garcia. She's my friend. She's a friend of the program. And she was an investigator. And she's the one who did these interviews. And she says that's who did it. She said it to me to my face, and probably never thinking that anything would come of it, but they could. There's no limits on murder. So what people would like to see happen for Melissa to be released, drop the charges, there's no trial, and then guess what? Now they're going to go talk to someone else. And that very well, I mean, it's been many years, but check out the movie. It's called The The State of Texas versus Melissa. It's really good. So, back to our regularly scheduled program.
People who go that far, right? People in positions of power, right? They make people like me survive. The problem is that if this happened to me in maybe another state, right?
Oh, yeah. 21 days. Thank
I'd
you.
get a lot more help and support. Not here. Not here. Not in Starr County, Cameron County, Willacy County, or Hidalgo County. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. The majority of the good people are silent, right? The loud, hateful people, right? Because hate, I don't care what any influencer says. All right? I really don't. I don't care if you review.
Yeah, I know you don't care. That doesn't. I don't care what you care. Why am I getting these vibes from that hair? Did you see it early on? Did you see her hair early on at the beginning of this thing? Where are we at? 4:32. I don't know. That's just what I see. I don't know. That's why she lowered the camera. That's why.
It's that you know, that far, right? People in positions of power, right? They make people like me survive. The problem is that if this happened to me in maybe another state, right? I'd get a lot more help and support. Not here. Not here. Not in Starr County, Cameron County, Willacy County, or Hidalgo County. Absolutely not.
So, hi, Mindy. Mindy's asking, did a child of hers die? Of Vanessa's? No. Although she did have an abortion, but she did not have a child. Besides that, which is a murder, I believe. Let's not get into that whole debate right now. We'll save that for another time. But she had an abortion, but no, she had 4 other children, and 2 boys and 2 girls, and they are right now all doing very well.
Absolutely not.
Mostly because they're not with her. All right.
The majority of the good people are silent, right? The loud, hateful people, right? Because hate, I don't care what any influencer says. All right? I really don't. I don't care if you review food. I don't care, whatever. Or what you're trying to do with your life, that you're an RGB influencer. If you oppose me on that, on anything, I really do not care. All right? Because I'm a living testimony that what I'm saying is absolutely fucking true.
She says she doesn't care, but then she goes live to talk about what somebody said. But she doesn't care.
I remember when I started surviving, right? 6 years into my survival. It's already been about, almost 15 years. COVID occurred. I was judged back then the way that a fish would be judged by its ability to climb a tree, and I'm not even playing.
She's just going to keep repeating the same crap over and over again. Those people are going to judge me the way they judge a fish's ability to climb a tree. Now, the definition of insanity is not this, but a lot of people say it's insane to keep saying the same thing over and over and over and over, thinking it's changing. It's changed when it hasn't. You're just repeating the same crap.
That's where I come from.
Power.
That's where I come from.
And she talks about this place like it's such a horrible hellhole. But you know what? No matter where you go on this planet, with the exception of a few shitholes, that's true. But you go anywhere in this country, your life is what you make of it. So if people here talk about you, that must be for a reason. And 13 arrests is probably a good part of that reason.
They cannot deny that. Now, these people are on your juries, by the way. The best of the worst of them are in positions of power, making decisions about your life. I don't care who has a problem with what I'm going to say here right now, because let me tell you something. Back when they were trying to destabilize me, 6 years into my survival, the survival page is here to document everything, so that when the rest of the world knows, on my personal page and this page, well, here's the proof. Plus everything that's been filed, plus the hundreds of people that have witnessed this here in the Rio Grande Valley, and all of you that do not live in the Rio Grande Valley. Right? I remember when we were on lockdown, right? I was already getting a lot of hate, right? She stole sunglasses.
Yeah.
She has this mugshot and this mugshot and this mug. Never mind that this is really fishy, because that's no, and nobody's gonna help me. No one's gonna help me.
Mandy, she is not an influencer. Not. Maybe she is. She tries to be an influencer. She tries to influence people, to convince them that the whole world is against her. She's the most hated woman in the country. She's the most prosecuted woman in the country. She's a victim with a capital V. That's really what her first name is, but somebody changed it to Vanessa. It's really victim.
Nobody. I had to be my own hero. I have to be my own hero, right?
I think 47, I think.
They judged me for having my daughters in my car. Yeah, they did. They did.
Yeah. We judge you for having your daughters in your car while you're high as
like it was their business. Yeah. The same people that today say, just because I do, a 30-minute video on live, and I live stream it, that doesn't mean that I'm on here 24 hours a day. But y'all were judging me, right? A mother that refused to leave her daughters in the care of anybody else but herself. I was being judged.
What about the part where you lost the custody and then you had a chance to get your kids back, or at least appeal, and work to get your kids back, your two daughters. And you had a deadline and pay the filing fee, which was a couple $100 at the most. It was like $225, $250 at the most. Speculating, because you know what? It really doesn't matter how much it was, but it was a small amount. And you didn't pay, so you lost the ability to appeal. So then, a couple weeks later, you cried at the court to the clerk, please, 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 I'll pay the fee, I'll pay the fee. Okay. We'll give you another, 7 days, 10 days. Pay the filing fee to appeal, and then we'll start the process. Well, guess what? She never came back for that either. So it pisses me off when she wants to talk all high and mighty that she's a world-class mother to flock out of here.
Have they eaten? Because they didn't look healthy at all. They didn't look like they were thriving, right? Don't worry, this has a lot to do with what I'm about to say. It matters because I was judged during that time. As much hate that I received, right? Have they gone to the bathroom? Hateful people made it their business. My daughter's bodily functions, I'm not kidding, that's where I'm from. Those are the kind of hateful humans. Never mind that during that exact time, right? New York City became the first hotspot of COVID. It was so serious that people who took oaths to save lives unalived themselves due to the overwhelming grief of not even being able to save who they wanted to save. So, if I have some haters here, it's me. I've survived all of you. It's 2026, okay? I'm going to say what I have to say in this message. We all know a hater will not go live. I'm not going to waste my time.
Whatever.
The same kind of hate that I may get right now is the same kind of hate that I'm going to evidence right now in this video. And at the very end, I'm going to make a point as to why I made this video. All of you, when I end this video, can go and research it yourself and know that I'm not lying.
Nobody's going to do that because nobody wants to go back and live in the past. Who the hell wants to relive COVID? That was a crappy time. And not because people were dying, because ultimately, those numbers were inaccurate, huge scare tactics. Is that leftover? Oh, you guys see this comment? If you know, you know. Is that leftover residue from the truck stop? Oh my goodness. You know? Oh, see, my camera's off again, mother flower. So if you don't know what she's referring to, okay, you get it now, right? You get it.
Because like you, I didn't believe it either. So right now, I don't care what anybody thinks of me. Because honestly, the point of this video involves a lot of lives. And it's really...
She does care because that's why she's on. Because that feud she's still having with her neighbor, something was said there, and that's why she's here.
really similar to what happened back then. So I saw, right? And I started hearing in the news, like many of y'all did, where people were trying to calm the public and say, well, the fairly healthy people are not the ones, and that's a majority of the population. And I was thinking to myself, okay. So in New York City, in the first hot spot of COVID, it was people with diabetes, it was older people, it was morbidly obese, it was disabled, it was what the majority of our population down here in the Rio Grande Valley is. So the people who had the highest risk factors and the healthy people didn't have anything to worry about, but the people with the highest risk factors, their lives were in danger. Well, our statistics, I knew, where we are the most unhealthiest area of the entire United States. So what happened when I was driving around with my daughters in the car because I didn't want to leave them in the care of anybody else, and I was an essential worker, so I still had to work, right?
She didn't want to leave them in the care of anybody else. But it was okay to lock them in a closet with a bucket for them to use the bathroom, right? While you were out doing your little thing. That's okay. Whatever.
I was laughed at, mocked, and ridiculed as I stopped my car and I let y'all know everything that I just said right now.
Oh, poor you.
And I said we could very well be the second hotspot.
Where's that music coming from? Oh, sorry.
We could very well be the second hotspot because of the number and the proliferation of people who are more abundant here than anywhere else in the United States, where there is less fit people than anywhere else in the United States, which means it's going to be devastating. Nobody cared. No one cared. They all laughed. They did. They laughed. She's stupid, even though I've been in so many homes as a nurse for 30 years, right? Even though they don't like me to say it, but, you know, I have my degree in biology and chemistry. I know how the body works. I know statistics. I'm a neurodivergent, so I can pick up on patterns. I can see the big picture when most people can't. Now,
whatever.
Everything that I just said right now is mainstream, and there's a whole neurodivergency, you know, kind of TikTok.
Oh man,
right?
I'm froze.
On other outside of the Rio Grande Valley. So what I'm saying matters. But this is specific to the Rio Grande Valley. Nobody believed me. And one thing that I had a problem with was there was no people in the highest levels of government. Not the state. Not our federal representatives. Not county. Not local. Not municipal. Nothing. No one prepared, because nobody identified what I was speaking about and what I was being laughed at and mocked for. And what happened? The Rio Grande Valley became the second hotspot of COVID. We lost so many people that our local newspapers printed nothing but blank pages. That's how many people passed away. No one prepared for that. Everybody laughed at my concerns, right? Like I was Chicken Little. Oh, she's saying that the sky is falling. This video is about something else that I'm concerned about. Now, those of you that hate me, I don't give a damn. For the rest of you, I hope you learn this time around. If anybody was convinced by the hate last time, oh, you don't have to believe that. You were proven wrong, unfortunately. The haters that you believed were proven wrong. They didn't care when you lost your grandmother, your husband. They didn't care when you were upside down, face down in the emergency rooms, in the hospitals, in makeshift, rooms, trying to breathe. They didn't care about that. And I'm sure none of you that were convinced by the hate were thinking about the hate while you became one of those human beings that I was concerned about. Now, hi Geneva, this is really important. Remember Geneva? I love you. She's a very popular, she's a local celebrity, very popular Tejano music artist here. Thank you for joining my live.
I don't know if she is or not. I don't know that kind of music.
I'm going to repeat something very similar to what I repeated, right? Because, again, my concerns right now are rooted in our statistics. When I say this, many of you may have seen it, right? But you may have thought, because I sent it to two people that, you know, and they were men, and they didn't believe it. You see, when I was being mocked, 2 weeks later, when we became the second hotspot, we were in the New York Times. We were in the New York Times, the Rio Grande Valley, and everything that I stated was going to happen was illustrated in words, in statistics, in fact, in the New York Times. The New York Times.
I'm gonna skip a little bit because I don't need to revisit all this. I don't know what her point is. I was hoping she would get to it. Like, what's your freaking point? But all she wants to do is regurgitate statistics from what happened, 2019, 2020, 2021.
Spoke about what I'm going to say right now.
Okay, let's see.
Why do I care?
I don't care.
Because people in positions of government, school, municipal, county, state, and the people representing us in Washington should be making the video that I'm making right now. We should see them moving and preparing. Nobody is.
For what?
Just like they did not prepare, knowing our statistics, knowing what was being told by the World Health Organization, letting everybody know the high risk factors of COVID, everybody. Nobody was like, hey, I represent that area. I'm a district court judge in that area. I represent them in Washington, D.C. Nobody gave a damn. No one. This video is not going to be up very long.
By the way, I don't think we were that much of a hot spot. Definitely not like New York. I mean, I'm pretty sure we weren't. I'm pretty sure I would have remembered if, the Rio Grande Valley, Texas, has been, all over the news for days and days and days. I don't remember that. I do remember stupid crap like you can only drive with one person in your car, and that person better sit in the back seat with a mask. I don't know if you guys had any of those rules where you lived, but we had that one here. It was just so freaking dumb. But yes, I heard about that. I'm not monetizing. I'm not monetizing says probably talking about this because they shut down school in San Pedrito for 2 days starting tomorrow because of COVID. I guess enough kids got sick where they said, let's try to stop this. So we'll see how that goes.
So many of y'all, I'm about to say it, probably laughed at this, right? The United States is allegedly, just like, everything that I said was going to happen and actually happened was allegedly. Who the fuck was I?
Oh, that's right. She predicted COVID before anybody else on the planet did. She predicted it. Just remember that. When CNN talks about COVID, where did they hear it from? They heard it from Vanessa.
I was a woman that everybody was laughing at, that was being called a derogatory name for the R word for a mentally challenged person in Spanish. Everybody was normalizing hate against me and my family. So who was I, right?
Oh, poor you.
I'm the same fucking person that's now making this video. Right now, when I finish this video and you hear what I have to say, I want you to notice who's moving. How many of our leaders are moving? I'll tell you right now that the people in Washington, D.C. that are representing us here in the Rio Grande Valley, they must know that President Trump and his staff are preparing to declare a national emergency. I really do not care if people think it's political or this and that. All I know is that for whatever reasons, if it's real or if it's manufactured, when it happens, out of all the 17 states, right in the middle, from all the way extending from Canada all the way to the Gulf of Mexico, 17 states. Gary, Indiana. Nobody's even talking about Gary, Indiana.
Yeah, we are.
Nobody cares.
We've been talking about Gary. By that, I mean it's been in the news. Gary, Indiana had some nasty storms a few weeks ago, and there are still people without power there. And they expect to be still for another week or so. But that's because of weather.
You know when they're going to care? You know when Georgia's going to care? You know when Oklahoma's going to care? You know when Texas is going to care? When they're in the dark. When there's no power to feed people who aren't feeding tubes. When there's no power for people who have oxygen. When emergencies, when we are in the same exact situation that we were whenever we became the second hotspot of COVID.
C-Friend, welcome. Thanks for being here. C-Friend says Hidalgo County was the only valley county in the state that was in the top 20 counties. No way that the valley was a top hotspot. Houston, Dallas, San Antonio had it much worse. And it's logical because they have a lot of people there. There's bigger populations there.
So I send what I saw to 2 people. And right away they blew it off and said, oh, that's not true.
Mind you, she hasn't said what this national emergency is, but you're going to hear it in a minute.
Well, it's in the New York Times. Not the New York Post.
Oh, well, then it must be true.
They reported it too. And those of you that know, right? There's a difference. So just the same way that nobody believed me. And we had reporters coming all the way from New York City.
No, we didn't.
Because they were appalled and in shock and in awe. Because they thought that the most devastation they had ever seen, the most deaths they had ever seen was in New York City. And oh my God, how could it be here? Those reporters didn't know that there was a woman that everybody was mocking that actually, while she was surviving, she actually cared about the things that mattered. She utilized her platform to let people know why our leaders not doing anything. So if we know that Donald Trump, and it's in the news, is preparing for what else could it be? To declare a national emergency, because when 17 states have a power grid that's going to fail, that matters. That is a national emergency.
This is the Valley's own Candace Owens. That's what this is right here. I just looked and I couldn't find anything on it. So if she has seen this or she's got it, share the link. Where's the link? Is it on her page? Maybe it's on her page. Let me take a quick look at her page. If it's even up. Yes, it is. Nope. There's the live and there's no link. Only videos and photos of her showing her ass and her Silver Surfer top at the gym. And that's it. So, where's the evidence? Proof, receipts, where did you see it? What is your source for this information?
You're going to tell me that the people that are representing the Rio Grande Valley, South Texas, Texas at large, everybody, everywhere, in all the 17 states, what are they doing? But most importantly, here in the Rio Grande Valley, we have probably more people on feeding tubes. We probably have more children with disabilities on feeding tubes and oxygen than anywhere else in the nation. No one in power is moving. And if you do not believe me, then go look it up after this. Go see if your state reps are doing anything about it. Right? And if you don't care, are you part of the problem? Yeah, you are. You absolutely are. Yes. If you vote and you say it's so important to go vote, and I'm a diehard Republican, I'm a diehard Green Party member, I'm a diehard Libertarian, I'm a diehard Democrat, right? The party that cares. Are you urging your state reps and asking them? We had a freeze.
Oh, man. Jose Garcia, I don't know who you are, bro, but you killed it with this one. Nuestra Dumbass. Instead of Nostradamus, get it? Nuestra Dumbass. Nuestra means our, and you know what dumbass means. This is great. That's great. Good one. Good job.
A few years back, people died. That happened because the wind turbines were not winterized because it was too expensive. And perhaps if they had been winterized, that would have saved us from having that catastrophe. I spoke about that too. I was
You spoke about it. A lot of people did, actually.
laughed at also, and I was ridiculed as well. My live videos from that time are there, proving everything that I'm saying. So, you're part of the Democratic Party or the Republican Party, right? You're out there telling everybody they need to go vote, right? Right?
I just love it when she says a sentence and then, right? You're a Republican or you're a Democrat, right?
What is your candidate doing? Your candidate that's either an incumbent and is already there right now, knowing, because you're in fucking Washington, D.C., you have to know what's happening. Why aren't you moving? For all of you that think you're better than the rest of us because, well, you're part of the Republican Party, you're part of the Democratic Party, this and that, hoity-toity, high society, whatever. What are you doing? How strong is the fire, if any, that you're lighting under the feet of the people that you are trying to get in elected seats or to keep their seats? What are they doing for us here in the Rio Grande Valley when our statistics put us at risk of everything bad, worse, than as compared to the rest of the nation. For all of you Rio Grande Valley influencers, influencers are supposed to have their fingers on the pulse of things that matter. What other influencers in the Rio Grande Valley are talking about this?
Mindy, she has run as a Democrat, and then as a Green Party, and then as a Republican. You name it. She's tried every which way she can to find a way to get elected, and none of them worked at all. Thank God.
Is this more important than organizing another event? Is the Rio Grande Valley being at a...
And don't forget, I'm going to interrupt this because this is just blah, blah, blah. In a little while, in about, 35 minutes, we're going to talk about a little incident that JIS had. She almost sharded. Yes. On live. Yes.
and at a higher risk of danger and death and catastrophe than anywhere else in those 17 states. Does that matter more? Right?
So if it matters so much, why didn't you put a link to your evidence or to the article? Or at least source your article. Who is it from? Where's the information from? Anybody just come out and say shit. We've seen Candace Owens say she's got proof, never puts it out, but she says she's got the proof. Yet nobody's ever seen it. That's what this is happening here. And she acts like she's so passionate about it. She doesn't give a crap. Trust me. She doesn't give a crap.
Than making a cool little video, right? I'm an influencer. Yeah. What about the things that matter? What about the things that matter? Right?
Hey, Sean.
So I'm going to leave this video up. There's a hateful man, right, that likes to stream my videos. There's a hateful woman that does it too. I understand that the person that I'm surviving hasn't even spoken about this.
She means her neighbor that she's surviving. It's
I'm not surprised. And this is that right there is to my people in Raymondville. I'm not going to be addressing what was said recently. All I have to do is, man, right now I care about the power grid, all right? If everything gets fixed, which I do not see how, I do not see what provisions are being made by any of the county judges. No one's talking about it. Has Channel 4, Channel 5, News 23 mentioned it? Has the Brownsville Herald, the Valley Morning Star, the McAllen Monitor, have they mentioned it?
Those are three entities that barely exist anymore. The print media, like newspaper, news, at least down here, it's freaking disappearing. I don't know how people buy that stuff, the few that do.
How about all of these social media reporters? Have they mentioned it? How about that guy who goes everywhere to check how, is the water safe here and there? Forget about the water. What about the power grid? What about everybody asking for your vote? What about everybody that's trying to be governor, stay governor, or trying to be governor? What are they doing about the power grid? How are they trying to save Texans from disaster? I've gone through enough humiliation.
Not enough, honey. Not enough. Not enough.
I would have made this video even if I hadn't gone through that. I care even less. That's because I don't care. all I can do is document it, and one day it's going to matter. One day it's going to matter. It matters that some woman who is mocked, and laughed at, right, is not listened to and is ignored, have been always talking about the shit that matters way before anybody in power ever even mentions it. And even when they become aware of why the fuck are you not moving for your society here in Texas,
oh boy,
they still don't move. And you know why? Because they know that they can get away with it. They know. Because the loudest people in Texas, unfortunately, are people that hate, and are people that are ignorant, and are people that judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree. The people that don't matter, and whose opinions do not matter, especially when they're downplaying something as important as the possibility of the Rio Grande Valley becoming the second hotspot. Ha ha ha, that's not going to happen. It did. It did. It did. And many of you haters, just like the silent supporters of mine, you all, also my posers, also lost family members because of the thing that you were mocking me about.
Posers?
So right now, when this is over,
did she say posers?
if you don't believe me, go and look it up. 17 states.
Let me look
17
again. I gotta find this.
are in danger of not having any power for 18 months. Not everybody can afford a generator. The Rio Grande Valley has been home to the first and second most poorest school districts in the nation. When you have areas in the nation that have the poorest school districts, there's a lot of other statistics that go along and correlate with that. We are in no position to survive that any better or even equally than the rest of the people in these 17 states.
All right. A recent U.S. Department of Energy emergency order covered 17 states due to extreme summer heat. All right. But, and there's a big but, pun intended. The claim of months-long power failure stems from a separate security warning regarding a hypothetical widespread physical attacks on critical grid infrastructure. So this months-long blackout warning, the reality is this is a worst-case infrastructure vulnerability scenario studied by regulators and experts. It is not an active, scheduled, ongoing power failure reality. Big difference in this and what she's saying. Huge difference. And that's the difference when you just grab a headline and you run with it without doing further research on it. All she had to do was dig a little deeper. I found this out right now in less than 5 minutes. So why is she trying to scare everybody? She's trying to create another shelf clearing event at the grocery store, telling people they're going to be without power for 17 months. 17 states are going to be without power for months. Months. So she doesn't know what she's talking about. End of story.
We're not. We're
not Vanessa fear-mongering. No. Yes.
At the highest risk of not getting through this the way that everybody else will. if nobody in Texas does anything to help y'all, I want you to see how many leaders in the other 16 states did something, at least tried.
Well, Texas did something. We haven't had a failure, a grid failure, as we did during that freeze. Then
At
again,
the very end, and
it hasn't frozen like that. I don't think it has since then. It's been cold, but that was in particular cold.
I've always said it, citizens, voters, all they care about is that their leaders, even if they fail, they tried.
Hi, Cindy.
They tried. And as we saw, when some stupid, weird, funny talking lady that everybody laughs at, right? And everybody's normalizing hate against her, right? Predicted that the Rio Grande Valley was going to have a lot of death. And everybody said, why don't you just be quiet? Well, nobody was doing their job. Why are you saying nobody's doing their job? Because they're not. Because they didn't. And because I was right. And had they moved to the level that they needed to move, we may...
I'm not monetizing. Good one. Well, she won't have a problem without power. She's used to it. It's questionable whether she has any right now, which is why she's in the vehicle. So often, I should say, when she's live, like at night or 2 in the morning. Who the hell wants to? I mean, I like my car. I love my Jeep, right? And being in there, if I'm driving or if it's a road trip or something, fun. But there's a limit. I don't want to watch TV in there. I don't want to hang out on the phone in there. As soon as you're done, you're done. I'm going home. I'm walking into the house. Not sit in the car for another 4 hours on live.
Many of y'all may not have lost your grandparents. You may not have lost your brothers or your siblings. You may not have lost your cousins. You may not have lost your wives or your husbands, your children. If they just would have identified what I identified. And nobody should be urging these people in power. Nobody should be urging a county judge. Nobody should be urging a governor. Nobody should be urging state reps. Nobody should be urging U.S. reps to get us prepared to be able to survive this to the highest degree possible. This is scary because since that freeze, every time there is so much power being used during the hot months to cool us down and so much power being used during the cold months to warm us up, is when disaster strikes at small degrees.
Well, you care. You don't even have air conditioner. You know.
Let me ask you something. When ERCOT chose who to give power to and who not to give power to during that freeze, since then to today, if you think I'm wrong, and what I'm saying doesn't matter, can you tell me how anybody in all these years has made one move to fix our power grid?
Yeah, we fixed ours already. Hey, Angela, I forgot to say hi to you. How you doing? Where you been? She thinks she's smarter than everyone. She does. And she believes she saw, whoa, I just saw something that nobody else saw in this obscure article that I didn't finish reading. Let me go tell everybody I want to save the world. Nobody's going to know. If I don't tell anybody, nobody's going to know. I'm going to break the news. I want to save the RGV. I'm going to save the Rio Grande Valley. Just remember, it's Rio Grande, Rio Grande. But it's all right. It's all right.
Anybody? What have they done to fix our power grid? What have they done? It matters to me because during my survival in 2016, and believe it or not, I don't care what anybody says, this is true also. I spoke before the U.S. Board of Education and I let them know that the Houston Chronicle had exposed Texas for denying special education from 2004 to 2014. Why does that matter?
Oh boy.
Because you fundamentally affected 2.1 million.
Wait. What did she say? You fundamentally? Is that what she said?
Because during my survival in 2016, and believe it or not, I don't care what anybody says, this is true also. I spoke before the U.S. Board of Education and I let them know that the Houston Chronicle had exposed Texas for denying special education from 2004 to 2014. Why does that matter? Because you fundamentally affected 2.1 million of...
That's what I thought she said. She fundamentally said that. By the way, somebody said ginger, right? Did you see that in the comments? This is my ginger. That's my ginger. That's my ginger. I love ginger. Okay. Enough of that.
Of Texas's most vulnerable population. Not the general population, no. The children who are most at risk. Let me point you to another event that shows how much people care. Nearly 300 officers from 18 different law enforcement agencies showed up, and only one officer, an unsung hero, was eating breakfast. And while everybody else stood around, he was the only one that said, "Why y'all standing around?" While the school staff and 19 officers just stood there, and one officer didn't allow his best friend to go in there because why were you pulling him back? Oh yeah, that's right, because the rest of the nation is going to know that if your friend went through that door, why the fuck are you not going through that door and trying to neutralize the shooter? You didn't hold your friend back because you were afraid that your friend might get hurt. No, you held him back so that he wouldn't prove to the rest of the United States that you all were cowards. That you didn't even try to see if the door was locked. That you knew that the door was locked. And if you didn't know, then you wouldn't have tried to hold him back. You knew it was not locked. And after that, nobody cared. Nobody cared.
Wait a minute. I was responding to a text message, but what did I miss? What door was locked? What did I miss?
Your friend back because you were afraid that if your friend went through that door, why the fuck are you not going through that door? And while everybody else stood around.
Oh, talking about Uvalde. Now, how do we get to Uvalde now? God.
And after that, nobody cared. Nobody cared.
Nobody cared, Vanessa. Just you. Just you.
So if nobody cared about the power grid that hasn't been fixed, and nobody cared in Texas to prepare us as the most vulnerable population in the entire United States of America, here in the Rio Grande Valley, they failed us to such a degree that we became the second hotspot of COVID.
We were not the second hotspot of COVID. Why is she lying like this? I have no freaking idea. Well, you know why? Because nobody's gonna fact check her. No, it's. Oh my God. We were not the second hotspot in the country for COVID. She wants to think that. I don't know. Did she get a prize for saying that or something? Or is somebody paying her to say that? Good Lord.
If nobody cared that 19 officers and 300 plus did nothing and failed to do what one officer did while he was eating breakfast and actually implemented post-Columbine active shooter protocol and neutralized the shooter 77 minutes after the other officers did nothing.
There's no such thing as post-Columbine active shooter protocol. I don't know where she heard that, where she got that from. I heavily looked that up when all this was happening, when the incident at the Robb Elementary School happened. And it was nowhere to be found. It's not a thing. You can say what should be done, because of post-Columbine, but it's not a thing. It's not.
And did everything to hide the fact that they could have done the same thing, but they didn't. To this day, no laws have been made. Nobody has been prosecuted to the necessary degree. It took forever to even indict the ones that they did, and that was a joke. The shooting at Robb Elementary.
Well, somebody is in trouble, and it's not over yet. Well, somebody was going to be in trouble, but they were trying to convict someone, make him a scapegoat. And there are others who are going to go to trial. So this is not over yet.
The fact that...
And we already said mistakes were made. It was a problem, huge problem. Everybody knows this already. And different communities police departments had made their changes to make sure something like this doesn't happen again. So what's in it for you to keep repeating the same crap over and over again? I don't get it.
The fact that the Rio Grande Valley was the second hotspot goes to show you we are neglected down here. We are not cared about down here. Because if Texas can let down 2.5 million of the most vulnerable children, an entire generation, deny them special education, if they can let down elementary school students and teachers and hear them losing their lives, knowing that they're in there and they are struggling to survive, and everybody goes unpunished.
Yo, Michaela, what up?
And nobody else cared.
Hey, Patty.
Then what makes any of y'all think that these people are going to move to help you survive when you need help the most out of anybody else in all 17 states? The most at-risk population is South Texas. Anywhere from San Antonio down to here, the Rio Grande Valley. Who is moving? But most importantly, why didn't they do anything knowing how the power grid was already an infrastructure that was failing us? I want you to remember, and hopefully nothing happens and we survive, just like I hoped. And I said, well, hopefully it doesn't happen, and hopefully you guys laughing at me are, you're going to be laughing even more because I was wrong, right?
And that's what she's doing. She's just trying to scare people and putting it out there, even though it's not likely to happen. But if it does, she's going to say, I told you. I told you. Nobody wants to listen to me. I told you.
And hopefully, I said, if I'm wrong about these officers not doing anything, doing the worst thing, choosing to hear lives asking for help and not moving. Hopefully, I'm wrong. I wasn't. If we know that you can let 2.5 million children down, if you know that...
Oh my God, she wants to keep... This is what's annoying.
...of losing the most people per capita, and we were during COVID. If we know that 2.5 million of the most vulnerable...
Let me fact check. And here she's again with the 2.5 million.
...of Texans, that, I don't care what anybody says, 2.5 million children were denied special education. That is the worst United States public school catastrophe, and no one talks about it. We're neglected.
Oops.
We're neglected. If you hate me more than you care about your grandfather, your grandmother, your aunt, your families, the parts of your families, the people in your families that don't have much means, people that you care about, that you know, would not be able...
Oh my God, shut the F up already. Let's see. Galax, Galax, Virginia. It's like Galaxy, but without the Y. Galax. Recorded the highest number of COVID-19 deaths per capita among independent cities and county equivalents nationwide. They had over 1,100 deaths per 100,000 people. Because Galax is a small, high-poverty, independent city with a population of roughly 6,700 people, a relatively small total number of raw fatalities translated into the highest per capita mortality rate. That makes sense. Easy to fact check. Easy.
...be able to survive 18 months of no power. If you hate me more than you care about those things, I pray for you.
She doesn't pray for anybody.
That's it.
Not even herself.
I'm not here yelling, right? I'm not here doing what I did the other day, or the other years and all that. No, I'm not. I'm Vanessa Stephanie Theharina, and I've evolved.
No, you haven't. You're still talking about this crap 6 years later, 8 years later, 10 years later. You're in this vicious cycle, like a rat in a wheel. That's what you're like.
This matters more to me than any other stupid shit. This is the part of my story that's serious. Were you the girl that spoke about... Yeah, I was. Were you the girl that addressed the... Yes, I was.
Nobody ever says that. Nobody has ever said there. Oh, are you the one that said this? No, that never happened. Oh, are you the one that talked about it? That never happened. It's just shit in her head.
Were you the one that got so much hate because you immediately knew in those 77 minutes that those officers were lying? Were you the same person? Were you that woman with everything that was mocked at and laughed at? Yes, I was. And I didn't care. Because we're not supposed to care. We're not supposed to care what anybody thinks about us. Especially if what we're doing is more important than anything that they can say about the person that they're trying to mock.
I don't know, whatever.
All right. I love y'all. Thank you. There's nothing that I can do. Honestly, this is out of our hands. Go look it up. Go look it up if you don't believe me. Oh, it's just some TikTok story. Oh, right.
We did. I looked it up.
All right. Hopefully, President Trump will not declare an emergency regarding exactly what I'm stating here, right? I'm probably going to be wrong. I welcome all the backlash. I welcome all the ridicule. I welcome all of that. I do. Also, I won't be surprised. You see, all of this that I just stated is part of the very serious thing. And on top of that, I'm caring about these things, letting people know, asking, why is no leaders doing anything about any of the things that I just mentioned, right? That's the part of my story, surviving public corruption, having a survival page, being arrested 13 times by people that just want me to shut the fuck up so that people in power that did what I believe my children told me can be saved, right? That is the part of my story that is the most serious. And it's times like this that I don't give a fuck about the Carol Baskins and the Tiger King part of my story. Because yeah, they exist. But all those hate pages, right? That one hater who now talks about hate watchers after I've been calling people hate watchers for I don't know how many years. Everything. Right?
I don't know what you're talking about.
That's Carol Baskin energy. I don't care about that. We all know who she's talking about. We all know who she's talking about. If I see you in the dollar store, if I see you in HB, I don't give a fuck about that. I give a fuck about our power grid, okay? That's what I give a fuck about. No, it's not going to be disorderly conduct because I'm not going to interact with you. If you touch me, that's a different story. But
wow. Someone who cares about the power grid so much that happens to have no power at her house? That's a new one.
But there will be no disorderly conduct. There will be me not letting up until I see flashing lights. That's it. That's a personal, instinctive survival. What this video is about is the survival of an entire society. Do you understand now why it's embarrassing that I have to survive this Tiger King energy? But honestly, if it weren't for them, I don't think that there would be such a contrast between the fucking shitty haters and the shitty haters in power that fail to protect people and prevent lives from being lost because they did not pick up the patterns, nor did they care when a woman said what she needed to say and what she was afraid of happening. That's what matters.
Okay, so there's someone who lives in her neighborhood and as part of daily life drives by her house because she has to. Vanessa's home is it's actually on an interstate. I think it's on an interstate or a state highway probably. And it's a main avenue that cuts through the town of Raymondville. So on a couple occasions, she said, hey, I drove by at night. You know, at night in your house, you usually have a light outside. And even if you don't, you got the mini blinds or the curtains, but you can tell that there's light inside the house. Like around the edges of the windows, or you can just tell. Well, I'm told that they drive by and the house looks like a black hole. Like it's just pitch black completely. Now, that was a couple of months ago. I don't know what it's like. I'm not going to drive out there to look. I got no interest of going over there. I don't want to catch anything. So whether it's true now or not, I don't know. But at one point, it was true. Not to mention a lot of times when she went live from her house, the only light on her was from the screen. The rest was, it was dark. So something was up. And that's just a educated guess.
Officers not moving their fucking asses to save elementary school children and kids, that's what matters. An entire state letting down and refusing to give special education to 2.5 million children, that's
God.
what matters. Yeah, my survival matters. But I care about my society.
No, you don't.
Now, all of those hate pages that don't like me, they hate me more than they care about the issues that matter. And many of them are not smart enough.
You know how the other one says she likes to call people irrelevant. Couldn't say it with a different word. Irrelevant for everything. Doesn't matter for what. Irrelevant on any and every topic.
And yeah, mark my words, you will soon see Miss, oh, it's going to be disorderly conduct. No, it's not. It's going to be me surviving you. Speaking about this issue. And probably saying things that are not consistent with the truth. So I urge all of you to do your own research. All right?
We did. And your story is not accurate. Do some research.
It would be unwise, right? Unless you really don't care what you look like because you hate me more than you care about the things that matter.
Oh my God. Nobody hates you. Quit. See, that's what's important to her. And she's not angry about it. She likes it that people hate her. It's like, Jesus, quit. Can you tell something is off? You can tell.
Weird.
So instead of coming over here and hating on me and blah, 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 why don't you go look it up? And why don't you go prove me wrong? Prove me wrong. Prove that, she's just believing some conspiracy theory. Because that's what it is. You know what? I hope to God and I pray that it is.
No, you don't hope for nothing. It's not even a conspiracy theory. It's just inaccurate information. You're not doing the research, and I'm repeating myself.
It's not a conspiracy theory. All right.
Almost over. Less than 10 minutes now.
That's it. That's all I have to say. Again, if you're barely tuning in, and you know that I will be leaving this video up, which means you have the ability to watch this from the very beginning. Right?
Whoop-de-doo.
We've been watching people for the last, 15 years live stream videos. Those are the kind of people that are not going to care. The people that come on live videos and want you to brief them, to deviate your attention, right? Because they cannot possibly wait to watch the video from the beginning. It's up to the rest of you to not be like them and to actually care. To not be so narcissistic that you want the whole world to pause, to brief you on something and take away attention from the things that actually matter. All right? Crystal's right. You can't even laugh at that. Crystal Stairway says, and it's true, I said it also. For 15 years that I've been saying it for longer than that, but on social media for 15 years I've stated, we would be unwise to believe that we are the smartest beings in all of the planet. And here we go now, our government is stating that, yeah, we're not alone. Yeah. Beings that we cannot explain things, and you got China telling their people, if you are confronted, by a being like that, don't speak to them. But our United States is not warning us what to do if something like that were to happen to us.
So, from what I understand from watching numerous interviews with people that were abducted, they never had to speak with them. They have had alien encounters, but they never had to speak to an alien. Because as they were about to get a question out, that alien or the extraterrestrial would answer them telepathically. It's like, and the best way they describe it is, you're thinking of what you're going to say. And then all of a sudden, boom, it pops in my head what they're telling me. It's just there in my mind. And you know what? People have been saying that forever. And it makes sense. Who are we to believe that we're the only ones in this ginormous interview, in this ginormous universe that is endless? I mean, you travel in any direction, you get on a rocket and go, and you'll never stop unless you hit something. You can go on for freaking millions of light years and you'll never land anywhere. So why would we be the only, I'll call intelligent, I use that very lightly, but why would we be the only intelligent species in this ginormous universe?
Right? Now it's not so funny talking about aliens, right? Yeah, no, it's not. It's not. Right? It's not so funny now that we know that it's true. Right? I don't know what else to say. Either people are going to care or they're not going to care. Either people are going to be hate watching and be more focused on this fucking bitch Vanessa the Irina won't go the fuck away instead of caring about the shit that matters that I said here. Honestly, I don't give a fuck and I don't care. All right? I will never care.
That's the first truthful thing she's ever said.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Anyways, that's it. Okay? Yes. I'm acknowledging you, Crystal. Yes.
I'm going to skip a little bit forward because we're almost done. I just want to advance this a little bit.
20 years. Be more focused on shit. Why are the leaders? They're both important issues.
He did, hey.
Why? They're both important issues. Those lives that are innocent in those immigration centers, they matter.
Coming up in a couple of minutes, we're going to talk about, how do I phrase this? Things people do when they're live, talking about a specific incident. They just want to talk about it.
But so do the lives of U.S. citizens in Texas. We matter too. So all these people that want to prove that they care and they're such caring people and this and that, all these leaders that asked for your votes and you actually voted them in. Everybody. Beto, O'Rourke, everybody.
No, you can curse. You're not going to get banned or anything.
Everybody that you love, every Democrat that you love, because of course the Democrats are the ones that care about things like this. What have the Democrats done to urge them to such a degree that today we have a brand new updated power grid? Nothing. They have done nothing. Zero. They're the party that matters. They have done zero. That's why we are one of the 17 states at risk. But you love them, right? Okay. All right, that's all I have to say. Thank y'all so much. I love y'all so much. And one more time, because I am nothing but love, and and I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Okay. And Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true. You're a pal and a confidant. And if you threw a party and invited everyone you knew, you would see the biggest gift would be for me, and the card attached would say, thank you for being a friend. I love y'all so much. Yeah, she's that weird fucking woman.
I know what you did. You're a damn pedigree. All right, just get the hell out of here. I got a goddamn campaign.
That actually is everything she said in that video is fucking true. It's fucking true. And the people that judge her are people that hate her and that think that they are so much smarter than her and that will judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree. But yet she was the only one that actually cared about this issue. And that actually wants us to wonder why the people that we put in positions of power to make sure that we did not become one of those 17 states failed us. And did nothing. Thus allowing Texas to become one of those 17 states. Okay?
4 seconds left. Oh my God. Oh. I had to. I had to. Because if I heard it earlier, you guys had to hear it. So, JIS was doing a live yesterday morning. She's on her phone, you know, the usual, right? Oh, I gotta go to the bathroom. Okay. She runs off, right? He runs off to the bathroom, leaves the camera, leaves the phone on, the camera's on, everything's recording. You can hear everything. And I mean everything. So she leaves. Jessica is spoiled. Her name is Jessica Hart. That's her formal name. Right? He goes to the bathroom, right? And then and then this happens. Okay. I don't know, if I make the noise, it's gonna gross me out. But if she would have stayed in front of the camera for another 5 seconds, she would have sharded. She would have sharded. Now, she went to the bathroom and didn't close the door. You know, sometimes when you go in there and you know it's gonna be noisy, or maybe you're gassy, you know, what do? Sometimes you can't do anything, but what do you do sometimes? I turn on the water faucet. I'll turn on the shower. You know, I'll give a simultaneous courtesy flush. And and all this with the door closed. I mean, it was like it was like, you know, I don't want to describe what it was like, but it was pretty explosive and it was loud. And this right here, whoops, let me do this. God, where am I? I can't even find myself. All this right here, all this is not an exaggeration. So Oh, really? Oops. No, it's hard to hear. I'll be honest. You can't just. It's not like right there, right? Yeah, see, I'm not going to play the video because. You know why? Because I don't want to, I don't want that to come back to me and all of a sudden I'm getting copyrighted. And it's still there. You go to it. Oh, no, I think she took it down finally. But if somebody wants to share it, if you want to share it amongst yourselves, get in touch with each other. So the first thing I noticed was, well, why didn't she close the door? All right. Oops. Why didn't she close the door? At the very least, why didn't she close the door? 2. Whoops, let me take off this thing here. It's on my post. You can go to my page and you can see that and what I wrote. The second thing I noticed, she came back so fast that the first thing I thought was she didn't wash her hands. And she didn't. Didn't wash her hands. But then, besides that, I don't know if anybody thought about this. I mean, it was explosive. It was loud. You could hear 2 cracks of thunder. You could hear it. But she came back so fast. Watch it. If you guys have this clip, watch what I'm going to tell you. She came back so fast. Makes me wonder, was there sufficient cleanup? And I don't know if I heard a toilet flush. I can't remember right now. You know what? Let me hear it for myself here. I'm not going to play the video. Like I said, I don't want to get the... Let's see. Okay, there is a flush. And then right away, she's back. Oh, and this video cuts it, but and then she went. It was like an explosion, like a. Yeah, she was back quick, and you can hear when a sink turns on and somebody washes their hands. Heard the toilet, and it was very loud. The toilet was loud, so if water would have been running to wash. But might have been a courtesy wipe. Might have been a courtesy wipe. But if you got some explosive stuff going on down there, I mean, I'm taking a shower. That's what I'm going to do. I'm taking a shower. Because explosive means, I mean, you've heard all these, studies and tests done. Oh, let's go test somebody's bathroom. And, the sink looks clean, right? Shiny, clean. And then they swipe it, they swab it. And then they take that back to the water. And then there's feces freaking everywhere. On the walls, on the sink, on the faucet, on the towel rack. Everywhere. And if you have explosive, stuff, and that's why when you have a stomach problem and you got like diarrhea and explosive diarrhea, you got stomach issues with a lot of diarrhea, the doctor said don't go anywhere, don't go to work, don't go to school, because that gets everywhere and you can spread it. I mean, if you knew how many times I wipe my phone down and Lysol it, I do. And the thought of not cleaning enough, and then not washing your hands on top of that, guys. And I know guys get a bad rap. Men get a bad rap for not washing their hands after they use the bathroom. But it's just, even if they just number one it. And I don't know why. I mean, I'm always running out of friggin' soap in our bathroom. Disinfectant soap, pump. Yep. Wash our hands, sometimes twice. That is something good that COVID, that came out of COVID. That is something good that came out of COVID. It really is. No, I don't have all these, right? There they are. I wash my hands. The thought of someone doing that, and then you're gonna go meet somebody, you're gonna shake hands and stuff, and whatever. Oh. I was like, wash your freaking hands, people. Wash your freaking hands. You know what I would have done? Left the camera on, but I would have muted my phone. Mute the microphone. And then go and make all the explosive noises you want. Whatever. Tear the house down. Crack the toilet. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Set off the smoke alarms. Whatever. Wash your freaking hands. Wash your freaking hands. And I don't want to get all nasty and stuff. When you're... That kind of cleaning takes more than freaking 10 seconds. Because I'm going slow. Keep going to the paper. Wrap it up. See, I do a courtesy wipe. And then I got my those guy wipes. The man wipes. Then, only then, and then I go through 2 or 3 of those sometimes even. Clean. And if I can't, and I'm at home, I'm gonna take a shower. I will take a shower. I don't walk around with dirty ass. I don't. Yeah. But tell me that's just not, whoever heard that, they're going to need some therapy, 'cause it was pretty nasty. But it's dude wipes. That's it. Yeah, it's a black package. She mutes all the time. Of all the time that she doesn't mute, she picked the wrong one. Hey, Michaela. Yeah, so here, yeah, we'll touch on this a little bit. So, someone once asked her about who created or manufactured their product. And I know a lot of comments said that, well, she says she created it. And then someone asked her, can you show me the active ingredients, the label? And she took a screenshot from her phone and she sent it to this person who was asking for the ingredients. And do I have this here still? I think I do. Yeah, it was this thing. And right there in the middle, just above where the black ends at the bottom, that the black rectangle at the top, at the bottom of that black rectangle, it says blah 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 .alibaba.com. And inherently there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with reselling or doing private label selling, but don't say that you manufacture it and you came up with the recipe for it. Because I guarantee, if you came up with your own ingredients, your own creation, original creation, you're not going to say your cost on that is only $2. And I'm talking about the scrub, because we saw the price on that. $2. $2. If I make something myself, create it, like a recipe, come up with it myself, I'm going to put a value of, I made this. My cost is $25 and I'm selling my crap for $50. Now, I know some of the stuff can be that cheap, but you go to Ulta. You think that stuff costs $1.50? You think that costs $2? Heck no. Or any of the cosmetics, the big cosmetics lines. So, I don't know. There was alligator tears. She was offended because some people were saying, I don't know, that where she got that stuff from. She didn't create it. She didn't manufacture it herself. And she got very offended by that. But people have seen it. One, that screenshot I just showed you, it says Alibaba. And then there was the screenshot of the price, the cost of a jar of that scrub, $2 if you buy 200 units. $2. The fact that you resell is not the problem. Even the fact that she makes the profit that she does on it is not the problem. People would rather you be honest with them. Say, you know what? Yeah, I do. It does cost me $2. But then, I'm the one selling. I'm the one packaging it. I'm the one putting it together. I'm the one shipping it. I do all this stuff. I'm doing it myself. And then sometimes I have a helper and I got to pay them. So it costs me money to do this. That's why I put what might be a reasonable price on it, $19.95 or $22, whatever she says. And is it reasonable? Is it priced along? Do other scrubs cost that price? Maybe it is. And that's fine. So it's not that it's a private label. It's just all these little things together combine to give you a bad look. The jar is not full to the top, right? I heard her say, "Oh, it's not full to the top because when you would put your hand in it to get the cream, it would overflow." So I went to get there's a lotion here. I forgot. I didn't even see what it was. But it was a little jar. So I opened it up. Let me see where this is filled up. And this was a cream. This was like a skin cream. And I opened it up. And this was full to the top. Almost all the way to the top. And this stuff is very creamy. I mean, it's, you can turn it upside down. It's not going to fall out. But it's creamy. So when you put your hand in it to get some, and you know what? And nobody's going to put 3 fingers in there and take out a giant scoop. So I don't know. You got to think about, are you getting... Again, I'm not saying don't buy from her, right? I'm not saying don't buy from her. I'm just saying, for me, it's a quality thing. I mean, how good can something be if the cost is $2? Think about it. Do you guys have any cosmetics from the big, Estee Lauder or even Avon? I don't even know what they put in their stuff, or any of the big names from Ulta, whatever they may be. Do some research. Find out what the actual cost is. What does it cost them to have that made? And they're going to pay more because they're the ones those companies invested the money to do the research, to pay their people, their scientists or their chemists, and to over years, over whatever time it took to put this stuff together and get it to where they want it. All that took time and took money, and they invested in that, so they have a right to get a profit, to get a bigger profit. I'm just saying, if it's $2, how good is that for your skin? Know what I mean? Know what I mean, Gene? Yeah, I mean, you go to Walmart, go to CVS, wherever you buy your cosmetics at. If they got a jar like that, usually you can open it and look at it. It's almost to the top. Sometimes it's way to the top, and you got that little, the piece in the center that from the machine that puts it in there, like a snow cone. That part in the middle comes up a little bit, and you'll see it. Sometimes it's touching the lid, the inside of the lid. Just saying, like I've always said, buyer beware. And be careful, be careful. And if you like her stuff because you like her and you watch her all the time and you like listening to her stories or whatever, that's fine. Do it. Keep doing it. But if you don't get your stuff, speak up and say something. And that's what we're going to show in the next few days is people who have spent, good money. They were supporters. Did they actually need all that stuff? Some of them didn't. They enjoy buying from her and some of the stuff they like. And that's your own personal choice. That's your right. You can do whatever you want. Buy from whoever you want. But if you order something, you should expect to receive it, and it shouldn't take 30 days. But then, if somebody who's not buying in quantity, like if you're doing pre-sales so you can get enough money to place the order for the product, that shouldn't be how that works. You know what I mean? And if that's, I think that's largely part of the reason why some people didn't get their stuff. I think some pre-orders never happened. Maybe there was not enough money to do a whole pre-order. But some people got their stuff, so maybe there was. It just maybe it wasn't as big as she said or she thought the order was going to be. Again, there's an operating income, an operating budget that you're supposed to have X amount of dollars, and this is where the money comes from to buy merchandise. So instead of spending every single penny of profit you make and buy cars and trips and expensive houses and go on vacations, whatever, instead of spending every single penny, you're supposed to take X percent, put it back into the business. And this is your little fund where you place your orders from and it comes from here. This is basic business. Basic capitalism. That's what this is. And if you don't do it that way, well, then you're going to have issues like this. Yeah, she said she was getting married, right? That was a video where she sharded. Or almost sharded. She sharded into the toilet. Ugh, I wonder. I don't even want to think about it. That's gross to think about. I'm just saying, I wonder if she went back to clean the toilet. Because after something like that, which does not happen often, I'm proud to say. But when it does happen, I get the toilet cleaner and I'm spraying it in there and, waiting a few minutes or whatever and then cleaning it. I'm doing that. I'm on my own. I don't expect anybody else to do it for me. I'm doing that on my own. And so that happened. So tomorrow is another day. I'm hoping in the next day or so to start. My friends are laughing over here. Yeah. The next day or so, bring our first people live and just talk about their experience. And, and some of them say they ordered a lot of stuff and they got their stuff almost all the time. But when they didn't, that's where the problem is. So, all right, I am going to call it a night for right now. Oh. Give me a second here. See if I got something else for you real quick. Yeah. By the way, the usual stuff. Don't forget to give the page a like or the video a like. If you haven't subscribed or follow me on Facebook, please do so. It's Manny's Hard Truth. Okay, no, that's not going to be up here for right now. All right. And on YouTube, you can subscribe to me at Manny's Hard Truth. It doesn't cost anything. And go to the little bell so you can set your notifications and you can be notified every time I go live. Sometimes I try to, do a little flyer and give a couple hours notice or an hour at the worst. It doesn't always happen. I get busy with life and work, work from home. And so I can't always do that. So I apologize for that. But do the notifications so that you know when I'm online. Tomorrow for sure. And I'll try to have someone with me to discuss their experiences with JIS. You all have a great night. Thanks for being here, and we will talk to you tomorrow. Good night, everybody.